Take a look at this data visualization. The bar on the left represents a basic $100 purchase, but over time, that baseline cost stretches and multiplies, turning a nominal charge into a $200 or even $300 payment. This mathematical illusion is the credit card trap, and right now it holds millions of Americans in record levels of debt. High balances are often driven by the most mundane transactions. Households are swiping for milk, eggs, and electric bills, using credit to bridge the gap between their income and the rising cost of basic survival. For the average household, paying with plastic has shifted from a convenience into a mandatory survival mechanism. Look at this macroeconomic area chart tracking U.S. consumer debt, which recently surged past the $18 trillion mark. This reflects inflating non-negotiable costs. Adding a second trend line shows rent, insurance, and healthcare pushing aggressively against stagnant income levels. While those expenses are climbing, personal savings are simultaneously shrinking, dropping to historically low rates. This gap between what things cost and what people earn forces consumers to use credit just to tread water. The stage for the trap is set. The trap springs quietly. A consumer bridges their monthly budget gap with a card, and a few weeks later, the bill arrives, offering a seemingly affordable minimum payment. But there is a hidden mathematical variable working against them. This chart breaks down a single monthly minimum payment into two categories, the principal and the interest. Notice how the vast majority covers interest charges, leaving only a microscopic sliver to reduce the actual balance. By paying so little of the principal, the debt survives for years. A small everyday purchase eventually costs thousands of dollars above its original price tag. The minimum payment structure prioritizes the bank's interest revenue, while ensuring the principal remains largely untouched. It effectively turns a short-term loan into a permanent interest stream. Then comes the tipping point. An unexpected emergency, a blown transmission, or a surprise medical bill strikes while the consumer's balance sheet is already heavily compromised. This chart illustrates the behavioral response that follows. Cash flow begins moving in a closed loop as a consumer opens a new line of credit to pay off existing minimums. As compounding interest applies, the loop spins faster, growing the total debt aggressively beyond incoming cash flow. This cycle of playing catch-up is known as the debt spiral. Once locked into this compounding crisis, clipping coupons is no longer enough to stop the bleeding. Zooming back out, millions of individuals caught in this exact spiral pose a serious threat to the wider economy. Economists are warning that this combination of rising household debt and depleted personal savings will eventually starve future consumer spending. This individual debt burden exerts a gravitational drag on the entire economy. If millions of households cannot spend, the broader financial system begins to lose its primary engine of growth. Escaping a mathematical trap at the individual level requires a precise strategic counterattack. The foundational defensive steps involve creating a rigid household budget and prioritizing an emergency fund. You have to ensure sudden expenses are isolated from your credit lines. Breaking the snare requires one specific mathematical adjustment, paying even a small amount above the minimum balance. This shift bypasses the interest-heavy priority of the bank and begins eroding the actual debt. Repeating these systemic changes month after month reverses the compounding effect. It turns the math back in your favor. True financial freedom is never built by leveraging debt. It is built by fully understanding and ultimately controlling the mechanics of how your money works.